this would be a risk of 45 pips in order to gain a potential 537. What's up, y'all? I'm back. I told you I was coming back sooner than you probably would think. And today I want to take a look at Euro Odd. Okay. So I am using Smart Trader. I do like this platform just because for me, it helps walking through the charts. It helps me walk through the charts a lot faster than some of the other platforms. Not to say I have anything against those platforms. I actually like a couple of them. But this is what works for me right now. Okay. And so I do a multiple time frame analysis. It gives me a holistic approach to the market, lets me know what's going on the higher time frames and how long I can stay in a trade in a certain direction. And although it may look a little bit extra or intimidating, I promise you, when you learn how to do this, it's going to change the trading game for you. So if you want to scalp, 10, 20 pips every day, you know how long you can scalp for. If you just want to get into a trade, set it and forget it, that will work as well. And so what I'm doing right now is I'm identifying high probability areas where price has the potential to reverse. And so what I do is I look for what's called swing highs, swing lows, right? And that's what we talk about, support and resistance. And so I've done that on the monthly. I do it on every time frame. And I go through all the way down to the 4, sometimes a 1 hour to figure this out. So I'm good. I've just checked with the smart resistance and smart support that Smart Trader offers, and mine aligns with what they have, right? So I'm gonna go down to the weekly. Now, for those of you guys who are new to the channel, my name is Kaci Jackson. I am a registered commodity trading advisor with the National Futures Association. And I try to put out YouTube videos on a consistent basis to give you guys just my insight, my take. Now, does it mean my take is always right? No, but I try to show you guys the approach that I look at that has afforded me some really good opportunities and got me into some good trades. Okay. All right. So what I'm doing now, I went down to the weekly to identify those key levels on the weekly. So what we're doing, we're going down each time frame and we're looking for that information. All right. So I believe I'm good here. I'm just going to double check with my smart support. I'm good. And we're going to go down to the daily and do the same thing. So now I see a level of support here. We're going to go red. And then I see a level of support here as well. I see one here. And now I see a resistance level here. Now, if you're like, okay, Kaci, how are you able to see these levels? I just don't see what you're seeing. Well, I would highly encourage you to do two things. Join my no-cost mini course. You can find the link in the video description for that. And then also make sure you join the no-cost Forex Facebook mastermind group. Don't cost you a thing. In there, I try to answer as many questions as possible that people have. We post charts of ideas. Every now and then I'll get in there and do like a private session to assist everybody on their trading. So I would say do one of those two things, or if not both, what makes sense for you. All right. So now I'm going down to the 4 hour and I'm just looking for those lows and highs again. This is the 4, right? Yes. Yep. Okay. So I'm eyeballing it. I did not use the system, but I'll double check the levels that I've chosen to make sure that they align with what I'm seeing. All right. And so I encourage people to do this manually. I know some people just turn on the smart resistance and, mark up the chart. But what if Smart Trader ain't available? Will you know what to do? So I think it's a good exercise just to go in, try it yourself first, and then turn on the smart tools to see if your work is right. That's the way I think you get the most out of this type of system and program. All right. Okay. So I think I'm good. I've done down to the 4. So now that I've identified my key levels, and I know some of y'all is like, girl, what is going on? Y'all have left comments on my channel. Like, this looks crazy. I know it does. But as you zoom in, you'll begin to like frame out what's happening. You'll be able to see clearly what's going on in the market. So now that I've identified the key levels of support and resistance, I want to know where we are in the Fibonacci sequence. Now, I'm a heavily based Fib trader, right? And so with a combination of Fibonacci trend lines and support and resistance, it informs my approach to the market. I like to keep things very simple. And so that's what I try to do on here too. So we see that the trend for 2020, we all know what this was. 2020 was down, right? Price found monthly support last year in March and started to move to the upside. So that's what we've been doing for the past year and a half. Now I see here that we had a shallow pullback. So we had a high, a low, a shallow pullback. I like to see price come back at least to the 38.2 before we see a continuation to the downside. And so for this year, the trend has been up, but on the monthly, the overall trend is down, right? But recently, we've had this pullback happening. And what I'd like to see is price push up to that green line before trying to come back and hit this red line down here. So I'm going to get rid of this smart fib tool. And then we're going to move on. I'm going to go down to the next time frame. So I'm going to go down to the weekly. And we're going to do, I already know this is like we saw what this was, where we are, right? So now I want to see to the upside, have we hit an extension? And so based on this fib on the weekly, this one has completed. We had an A low, a B high, a pullback, shallow pullback that formed monthly support. And then price hit the extension. I want to say, what was that? April of this year. And it looks like price has started another sequence. And so theoretically, on the weekly, we're in an uptrend, right? So the ultimate target would be the 1.7741. And we're in an uptrend because this fib is still active. And we've got a new high here. So I'm going to get rid of this fib. And I'm going to drill down even further. Okay, we're going to go down to the daily. And I'm just going to throw my fibs on it again. That's complete, right? I don't know who got to take advantage of it. This was a great move. This was a very great move. I did a video on it back in, I want to say May of that move. So I'm going to delete this. And then I'm going to, because these completed. So before I just do stuff, I'm sorry, y'all. This is done, right? A low, B high. We had a pullback, shallow pullback. Price stalled out. Then we pulled back to the 38.2. And then we ultimately hit the target sometime last week or the week before. And so now price needs to retrace in order to continue to the upside. But you've got to retrace, in my opinion, this entire move. For the purpose of this, let's see, A, B, D. So I'm going to look at, I'm going to put a manual fib. And so I'm going to go from low to the last high. And even before, like looking at this, like if price is making a move to the downside, I can see here we've got a level of weekly support, daily support, daily support. I would anticipate that price is going to pull back to this zone before doing any type of upside movement. And then if we break this weekly level here, this weekly and daily level here, I could see us coming down to 158 or so. Possibly maybe not that low, but that's the next major level of support, right? So I could see without the fib that if we're coming down to 163 area before we could consider any type of move to the upside. So now I'm gonna take my fib, measure from swing low to swing high, and this green zone lines up with our 618 pullback level, and that is like what they call the golden ratio, right? The 618, that's the zone. If you're going to take trades, that's the best zone to do it. And the reason that it is because it gives you the lowest risk in order to take advantage of what has to be offered. Now remember that we marked up the ultimate target to the upside is just above the 38.2. And you'll see that RD extension with this leg lines up with that as well. So I'm going to get rid of this. And now, because I know that I'm interested in sales, I'm going to start to set my chart up that way. So I'm going to zoom in. And I'm looking only at this leg right here. So I'm going to take my ray. And I'm going to draw my trend lines. Now I'm going to go down to the 4. Now it's about finding how do we get into this, right? How do we enter to take advantage of all the market has to offer on this setup? And then I'm going to go down to the hour to draw the trend line. I may even be on here for an entry, but let's see. Let me move this over. And then I'm going to draw from the last touch to the next touch. So we already got the break. All right. So we already got the break. And actually, I want to double check this. So I'm going to get the Smart Trend Line tool. I'm going to click below this last low. Oh, we're good. Okay. All right. So now it's figuring out how do we get in. So I'm going to use my fibs, right? I'm going to use my fibs to tell me how I need to enter. But first, I need to see from the downside. And I probably got to go up a time frame to get this where we are in this fib sequence. So I grab my smart fib, click above the last high, and I see that price is at or went to almost the 50. It didn't touch. But 50 is also a level of support or key level of resistance as well. The 50 fib line also lines up with the 4-hour resistance. And that's at 168.983. We didn't quite hit it. So now I understand where that is. I'm going to drill down just a little bit further. So I'm going to go down to the 1 hour, and the 1 hour still may be too high of a time frame. But I'm going to go ahead, click below the last low. What is this? 16915. But we hit 786. So it's completed that fib. So I need to go down and also look at the other leg because this is complete. And I said go down. And then what do? Let me go down to the 30. And what I'm doing now, guys, is just trying to find an entry into the setup. Yeah, that's going to be too high. So I'm thinking. So the way I would play this, and I'm going to hide. Can I hide this? Hold on. Before I give y'all my thoughts on this, let me see if I can hide it. There we go. Okay. The way that I would play this is I'd be looking for the break, because I think we already missed the first one. And let me just double check. Oh, it is this inner. Okay. So this should be here. And now I'm about to get very, very go down to the low to kind of find my entry. Oh, it ain't even giving me nothing. Let me go down to the 5. Oh, it already hit it. So the way that I would play this, and let me back out. Let me go up. And again, y'all, what I'm looking for is the entry, a way to get in. So what I'm thinking, and I'm sorry that I'm not communicating this, what I'm thinking is that we're going to see some sort of test to the backside of this zone. And that would be how I would look to enter. I would love to see this, and then I'd be looking for my entry. Now, price may not push that high because it has hit an extension, but let me look at this from a different perspective. I don't think it's on the hour though. That's the hour. Let me go. Okay. So there's still room for price to move on up. So I'd be looking. My thought is that price is going to push back up to this 4-hour level before we see it come on down. It is possible that it won't. And so the way that I would structure this in order for entry is to place my stop above the 4-hour level. And then I probably would limit in. Now I'm going to put my stop above this last high. So what is that? 6921. And then I'm going to draw. I'm just drawing out my setup now. And so on the higher time frame, what I saw, I'm going to get rid of this. And let me set this up right, because this should be green. And let me get rid of this. If it goes away. Oh, there we go. I wasn't pressing the right button. Okay. So long term, my thought was that we're going to see price come down. Oh, that we're going to see price come down to this daily support. And I placed the stop loss above the last high, just a little bit above. And so this would be a risk of 45 pips in order to gain a potential 537, potentially even more if price breaks through this daily level and comes and tests this weekly. But after catching 500 pips, I don't know if it makes sense for you to be tripping over, an extra 40 or so pips. So that's my thought on this pair. This is a great potential setup. If this makes sense to you, if the way or my style or approach to the market makes sense to you, make sure that you consider subscribing to the channel, and then also that group I was telling you about before. And then if you're like, Kaci, I already know I like the way you mark up charts, I want a deep dive and a better understanding, make sure you attend the mini course. It doesn't cost you anything. Okay, so thank you guys for watching. If it made sense, give the video a thumbs up, and I will see you on the next video. Have a blessed week. All right, bye.